it's paralleled in multiple cultures, and that these entities are still very much active today, apparently.
Yeah.
And Gene Roddenberry, according to this narrative,
Yes, there you go.
sat in on
Deep space.
yeah, well, he sat in on these
On it.
lectures and
Yeah.
these seances and the aftermath of them or whatever, and was inspired to do Star Trek. And the prime directive specifically came from these beings that were supposedly being channeled. And so, like, people think this is all crazy. I'm saying this to say, look, there's a whole other side to this that is going to manifest probably in the very near future. Whereas they were these ruling gods in the ancient past, they're coming back, but they're disguising themselves as Palladians and Nocturans and Orion people,
Yeah.
and now that we've got this
Council.
yeah,
Yes.
we've got this cosmological worldview that everybody's bought into now, ever expanding universe with a multitude of worlds, plurality of worlds, and stuff like that. That we've primed the stage, perfectly set the stage for these entities to manifest once again. And I'm with you 100% that I believe the Watchers of Genesis 6 were released in the end of the 1800s, right at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. And there's another episode, or it might even been the same one, I forget, but talking about Steve Jobs, right? And how Apple and the iPhone and all this stuff was channeled. Like, beings gave them this technology, this stuff. And, of course, in the news today, we're hearing all this stuff about, child trafficking and all that kind of stuff, right? Well, I was just thinking, literally just this afternoon, that I've got a book. It's called A Dictionary of Scripture Proper Names by J.B. Jackson. It's a really short little book. All it is all the names in the Bible and what the names mean. Well, the name Canaan means trafficker. The Canaanites were traffickers. Nothing new under the sun, right? You got David Icke and other people out there talking about reptilians, and I listened to their research, and I think they've got some pretty good research. I don't agree with all their conclusions, but I've come to believe that there is another bloodline out there, a bloodline of the dragon, that is very much at work out there. And when you think about the atrocities some of these people are doing, you think, how can any normal human being do that? Well, they're probably not normal human beings. They're probably Canaanites operating in the 21st century and making deals with the devil. I mean, we see shows and stuff like, oh, you made a deal with the devil, and what I'm hearing from you is that's very real. Making a deal with the devil is real, and it always costs something. And ancient artifacts and things like that could have something to do with it. So there's some artifacts and some things in Arizona that really don't belong there. And you were just starting to hint at that, so maybe I'll just set the stage for you, and you can take over from there.
Well, and real quick, to go back to Gene Roddenberry. Gene Roddenberry, this is publicly available information. Nothing we're about to talk about is anything speculative, right? Gene Roddenberry sat in, like you said, on a psychic audit. Basically, he sat in on somebody that was channeling one of these entities of the nine. Another individual who has been used as a psychic by the United States militaries around the world, as Mossad, Israeli, British government, all over the world, is a guy named Uri Geller. Uri Geller is a very famous psychic. You can go just look him up. He's someone who was instrumental for a lot of these governments around the world to be able to prove and do psychic experimentation on people through. He's someone who also channeled the nine. He channeled this Council of Nine as well. Deep Space Nine, the series, all seasons of it were literally channeled to him. The reason you want to talk to demons and talk to these spirits to get those kinds of downloads is because you yourself, like I said, can build and grow a mega empire, right? How much did Deep Space Nine, in its long term, will that ever gross? All of the different things that came through that, right? So you have people that parasitically want to feed off of that. And the way they do that is you make deals with spirits in order to have that kind of power and influence and idea inspired into you, right? But everybody, I believe, is operating under the influence of spiritual entities continually. There is never a void in this vacuum of life. It doesn't exist. Everyone is under the influence, and we need to know by what spirit we're under the influence of. That's like understanding why John is talking about test every spirit and know which spirits are of the Most High and which ones are not, right? Because each of us can get under the influence of it. Deep Space Nine and a lot of these shows began to set precedents of ideologies for a reindoctrination of those old religions, like we talked about, just like what you're alluding to. Arizona is a place where people come and gather and collectively have built a kingdom that is literally designed for channeling and meeting these spirits in private, and having a community that is built and laid out by the architects of Disneyland themselves in order to have a fantasy island where you can go and engage with these spirits and anything is allowed. And this is right in front of your face. And it starts with the London Bridge in Lake Havasu City, Arizona.
The London Bridge. Now, I just saw the Spider-Man movie, the most recent one that came out, and a lot of it takes place. I guess they rebuilt it or did a new version of it, right? There's a new bridge there, but London Bridge is falling down, right? We used to sing the song. I guess is it the original bridge or whatever? I don't know, but you can tell the story.
You guys hang in there to the end if you can, because I am getting somewhere with all this, all right? So hang in there.
The Father had mercy on me and spared my life, and he gave me deliverance that day. And you know what? I still have 5 hernias in my abdomen, and my spine is still crushed into a C right now, and it jacked me up horribly, and it took me out for a long time. But you know what? It instilled in me a desire to keep going, because the enemy never wastes his assets. The enemy doesn't he doesn't waste a single bullet. Most people are just living in the trenches, and they're happy to stay asleep in their spiritual seductive slumber, in their fluoride haze. They don't want to know this stuff. They don't want to fight. They just want to stay down. And you know what? They're never going to get shot at. They're never going to experience what this war is actually like, because they're cowards hiding behind those comfortable lines. But you know what? As soon as you stand up and start to put up a resistance, as soon as you start to light up those fires trying to tell people hope is over here, that you can resist, that you can fight back, you know what? You get targeted severely. But that's part of that is the cost that we all have to we have to count the costs at the end of the day. And you know what? I've counted that cost, and it's worth it. It's worth it. My life will live on no matter if I'm alive or dead. And if I become a martyr in this game, so be it. But you know what? It's well worth it for people to see that there is always men of conviction who are willing to stand up and fight.
Well, I want to quote you from part 1 for those who didn't see part 1. I'll try to remember to link it below. Go back and watch part 1. But you said, "You're always asleep." For those who don't want to hear this truth, right? For those that say, "Leave me alone. I just want to go back to sleep," like that character in The Matrix who just wanted to eat a big juicy steak. Put me back to sleep. You're already asleep, and you're basically dead. You're walking dead every day that you continue to ignore the radical, intelligent evil that's stalking all around you. That's the message we're going to leave with this audience today.
Evidently, something does not want me getting the truth out, because this is what's happening. And I wasn't really having trouble before, but I go to make a video and they're like, "Oh no, you're not going to do this," because I've got a whole bunch to show. So
I guess one last thing I'd say too, we didn't really answer the question about the alien UFO deception.
That's
I know
the strong delusion I was alluding to.
Well, I'm a dumb guy, so I might have missed that. But the strong delusion, you did mention earlier in the show, Satan transforms himself into an angel of light, right? A being of light. And certainly this alien UFO deception that I think is coming, it will be satanic at its core, will it not?
Indeed. This is what you're dealing with, is a childhood's end, you know. They're going to come with all lying signs and wonders. What I was trying to read from you is this is the fruit of the tree. When you're dealing with the beast system and the dragon system, you're dealing with lying signs and wonders. And this is the great manifestations of that, is what they have been so continually preparing people through this propaganda, which is Independence Day incarnate. That is the goal of that system, is that, you know, just like the President Bush had said, was that if we all just had an outside threat to come, if all of us, I think, could lay aside all of these problems and powers that are going on, all these wars would stop if we had an outside threat that was so strong, an alien threat that came outside this world to come upon us. We could.
That was Reagan.
The world.
That was Reagan at the United Nations. Yeah.
Ronald Reagan's speech. This is what they're trying to foment, and that those lying signs and wonders indeed are those fallen watchers coming back down onto the earth. Some of it will be military tech, some of it will be drones, some of it will be the X projects groups, some of it will be our hardware, our software, our materials that are in the underground bases that operate already, that are not anything miraculous, but some of them will be different, and that is literally the Ophanim. In Ezekiel sees these Ophanim, these wheels within wheels, these extra dimensional entities. You're dealing with things that are able to alter time and space and be able to transport themselves interdimensionally. When you're dealing with that stuff, you are dealing with those principalities and powers and rulers and dominions. They have a physical being that's called an Ophanim that is a literal carriage system. It's an aircraft, for lack of a better word, that these other physical beings put themselves in, these spiritual physical beings put themselves in to fly around, and they look like balls of light. They look like orbs of light, wheels that are glowing around and spinning. So much of that delusion will bring with it the deliverance that people will be crying out for. Because if we do indeed go into those days of war and violence and bloodshed and chaos, what people are going to be groaning for and moaning for when they're in that time of poverty and famine and destruction, and they're finally wrung out of that bloodlust and they want peace, they're going to demand it. And you know who's going to rise up to give them that peace is these very lawless ones, is this false prophet, is these very archons who have been trying to bring about the revelation of their kingdom, and they will cause all those wars to stop. They will be able to settle all of those disagreements so powerfully that people will be wondering and marveling at him. And he literally will come with all the signs and the powers of the heavens. He will come in a false manifestation like Yeshua is. That it says he's coming on a great white horse with all of these mighty ones following along him. They're going to imitate that very same thing because they have to make one who is, the word antichrist is not the right way to understand it. It literally means instead of. The anti-Messiah literally means the one who comes instead of the Messiah, in his place, who masquerades like him, who has the same facade like he does, and yet is very much consumed with that duplicitousness.
All right, you guys. I don't know if you. I guess you understood him correctly, but again, I apologize. I just don't have the proper equipment, and even if I did, I would not be able to figure out how to use it because I'm so not tech savvy. But what he was saying was these orbs, these watchers, the watchers being the Ophanim. This is so crazy, you guys. This is so wild. Because what he just said, the watchers, the Ophanim, they can bend time and space, right? And they are using some type of spacecraft, carriers. I think he said carriers, to come into our realm and, do all this stuff. All these people that are filming these orbs, including myself for the past 4 years, I can't tell you how many times I have filmed them, and they do look like wheels within wheels. They're spinning, okay? But here's what's crazy about it. 4 years ago, before I even knew about Nathan Reynolds, before I knew about any of this that I'm hearing right now, I literally was making videos saying, you guys, what is this in the sky? Because this is when I was first discovering them, okay? In my videos from that long ago, you can hear me in there saying, what are these? I mean, it looks like some type of carriers coming down. I literally was calling them carriers, you guys. And, I know most of y'all don't know me, so, you don't know if I'm making this story up or not, but I'm here to tell you I'm not making this story up. I have no reason to. What I'm getting at here is that everything that I've been shown, there's no other explanation for it except for it was literally the Holy Spirit showing me all of this that's taking place, giving me the eyes to see, giving me the ears to hear. And I can't tell you how many people I've tried to talk to about this to warn them, and they call me crazy, walked out of my life. This is I used to say this is a heavy burden to carry, and it can leave you very lonely, but I wouldn't trade any of this for anything. I really would not, because this is I always believed in the Most High God. I always did. But this just, all of this whole thing, everything I've been shown, it's just brought me so much closer. I'm getting baptized soon. I mean, everything has changed. And if people want to keep their head in the sand and not believe it and call you crazy, then that is their choice. But as for me, I want to know the truth. The truth is out there. If you want it, the truth is there. It's just people don't want to know the truth. They're scared of it. Or I just, I don't know. They've been lied to. We all been lied to all of our life. And that's, if you would just look into that also, you would find out that's all facts. Everything that we have been taught has been one big fat lie, including in the churches, all these false prophets, all that. I've gone over this many times in my past videos, so I'm not going to go into all that again. But I'm going to show a few more videos because I want to get to some of these orbs and stuff that people are seeing. And I want to show y'all some stuff, so hang tight. You see what's happening here? And I hear a bunch of sounds going off in my home right now as well. But yeah, they're locking me up because they do not want me showing this or talking about it. That's what's going on here. So, I'm not the only one either. I'm hearing a bunch of other people saying they're having all kind of issues. I watch a lot of these similar channels, and a lot of them are having issues. Same thing. So
The planet was first discovered, the wandering star. Like, it was the first place that it was discovered and the founder of it. And so there's a major amount of observatories there. Like, the most expensive scientific programs in the United States Navy is located just outside of Flagstaff, and it's their like interferometer. So it's something that uses lasers and mirrors to do observations and communications on this, like, it looks like a giant Y shape. They're like 3-mile long tracks that all of these look like telescopes are able to interline and track with stars and be able to communicate and send data back and forth. This is like a multi-billion-dollar project. It's one of the most advanced observatories in the world. So you have a high desert, which is like the air is very devoid of moisture, and you're at a high altitude. It allows them to be able to communicate with these beings up there, you guys, because a lot of these are like the celestial hosts. These are beings up there in the sky. It's not just like some kind of like puffy, fiery, like farts, like galaxies far, far away. Like, they're beings up there. Okay? These are like wandering stars. It's like a real thing in the Bible. Like, you read about it. It's like, the Bible's not lying. Like, these things, like, they've done some doofus stuff. They did not keep their first estate. Like, they're rebels. And so they are shot callers up there. That's why they have the black cube cult of Satan, of Saturn. Like, that's literally what these beings are communicating with, and why there's hundreds of billions of dollars invested by the Jesuits and by a lot of these dark orders and these dark sciences to take these high places and build these communications platforms, these observatories. A lot of them are communications for two-way communications back and forth between these beings. Okay, so Flagstaff at its fundamental basis is what it is as a city, because it's a communion point between the divine, between the heavens and the hell. Okay, so you have access points into the underworld, and you have communication points with the celestial hosts. And so I literally believe that's why, like, Meteor Crater, Arizona, which is just outside there, like, I believe that's a place where it opened up. I don't believe that's like a meteor strike that came down and I believe that's literally what happens when something comes up from underneath, and that was one of their portals of these, like a fallen watcher when they came out from their prison cell. That's what they left when they came out. So there is like a ritual mixing between realms, all three realms, between the underworld, the earth, and the heavens there in Flagstaff, Arizona. So cults migrate there like crazy, and it's a massive hotbed for occult activity. And then it's just outside of Sedona, Arizona, which is a major gatekeeping place for a lot of what is like the New Age ideology, like the Ishtar goddess worship and stuff like that, a lot of alien and abduction stuff. The reason that it's all centered in there, you guys, is because they've been opening these portals to this stuff from all these occultists that are engaging in this Crowleyan black magic and all this other stuff. They've been engaging in that stuff in that area, saturating that area, and they've opened up a lot of these rifts and portals through bloodshed. When you spill the blood, you open a gateway. You have blood that perpetually cries out as a witness. And so because of that, these other beings can come in, and they can masquerade as good angels or as bad angels or as light workers or as any other form of it. They can come in as a kundalini. They can masquerade as whatever they want. They're shapeshifters, fundamentally. That's what they are. And so they'll come to people and deceive them and lead them astray in any kind of manner or way. So there's another thing that was just stated that I was saying 4 years ago, and this was before I even knew what shapeshifting meant. This was back before I even, had looked into
how demons operate and all this, but he's literally saying the same exact thing I've been saying for 4 years now. These demons can manifest. I know y'all have seen many of my videos where I've said this. Demons can manifest into anything they want to. And this includes the fallen angels. The fallen angels and the demons are not the same thing. All right? They're different things. But anyway, I've been saying this for a long time. These demons can manifest into anything they want to. Be it something that looks like a bird, a plane, a helicopter, an animal, marine life, even objects, okay? Humans, all right? And I've been, for a long time now, too, I've been showing, like, these so-called music stars, these these, actors, actresses, and things like that are not human, you guys. They're not. They're all shape-shifting, and it's because, again, these demons can manifest into anything they want to. All right, so I wanted to point that out. And you guys, I'm not trying to say, I'm all smart and all that. No, I take no credit for any of this. There's no way I could have found out all of this stuff on my own doing. There's just no possible way. It was literally the Holy Spirit guiding me along the whole way, showing me where to, showing me the answers. That's it. There's no other answer for it, and I think that's just pretty cool. Well, they've got me locked up again, but I want you to look at the face on this orb. You see the 2 eyes up here and the mouth? That's a triangle eye right here, too. There's another face on the other side over here. There's an eye over here. Here's the nose and the mouth. But if you turn it this way, then it turns into another face. Then if you block it this way, you can see the outline of the face with the big lips right here and the nose. The faces just keep going. But I wanted to point that out real quick because, again, they've got my computer locked up again. I'm going nowhere, so I just wanted to point that out while I'm waiting. Okay, I've got it. I'm not playing this video. I'm going to jump around kind of randomly. But this is supposed to be a star in the sky. I know you can't tell right here very well, and my phone keeps going blurry, but this is a wheel within a wheel. Look at that. It's like, oh no, it's just, now my phone's going to go blurry. But this is a wheel within a wheel. This is supposed to be a star, okay? But they spin, and they move around, and all that, just like Nathan was just talking about. And now it's been changed into this. And these are 2 eyes right here. All right, and then again, here's another face up here. If I was to turn my phone sideways, you can see the profile of it. But this is a wheel within a wheel, is what this is. And these are exactly what these orbs look like, because they're one and the same. The orbs, the star, these so-called stars and stuff. That's what these all are. There's another image of it. There's a little bitty face up here. There's another face over here. I don't know if y'all can make them out very well, but I see them. And here's a little face inside there. All right, I want you to keep this in mind. I want you to keep this image right here in your mind, because I'm fixing to show you something here in a minute that's going to blow your mind. But all of these shapeshifters that I've been filming, of these so-called music stars and these actors and all that, I've always said they have this weird looking fungus stuff on them, right? And it's always black and white and sometimes blue. Same thing. Same exact thing that's on this is on all of the ones that I've been showing in my past videos. I can see faces in here, but I'm not going to waste too much time pointing out all the faces. But this is, all the same exact star that she's filming. And this is, what it keeps changing into. And this is just showing that she filmed it with a P900. And this is what NASA shows you that a star looks like. This is what they really look like. And this has got the blue in it. It's got the black and the white. Same exact thing that comes off of the music artists and the actors that I've shown in the past. Same exact thing. If I don't forget, I will show you before I end this video. Here is a very visible face. An eye. Oh no, what just happened? Oh, you guys, I hit it. Hold on. Oh no, I didn't hit it. No, they took it off because they didn't want me showing that, and now they got me locked up again. This is crazy, you guys. I'll just go ahead and show this one for now. You can see the slits in the eyes of these right here. And here you can see the two glowing eyes right here. This is still all the same thing, all right? And there's that fungus looking stuff right there that I showed that, and you're going to see it here in a minute. I'm going to show you. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and show you. This is Robert Patterson, I believe, from, I think that's his name. Edward, you know, from the Twilight movies. Here's the same exact stuff coming off of him. Same exact stuff all over him. And you see it's coming out of his hair, it's over here, it's all on the side of him, and look, you can see the teeth in his mouth. That's his big huge mouth with his teeth in there. He's shape-shifting because he's not human, you guys. He's not human. And that's a kind of an image of what it looks like right up there. But it's all in his hair. Look at that. That's him shape-shifting. And look, I want you to notice something too. Right here, over here on the side of him is a small face. And here's another face. There's just faces everywhere. Here's a big face with two black eyes and the long nose right here. If y'all can see that. I don't know how well it's coming out. But there's that one. And then now he looks like that. Very weird. Because he's shape-shifting. Here's another so-called music star from the band Guns N' Roses. And you can see he doesn't hardly have a face right here. And he's got that big, huge mouth with the black lips looking thing again. He's shape-shifting. That's what he's doing. They're all shape-shifting, but you can really see it on him. Yeah, that's the band member from Guns N' Roses. Look at this face right here. It's looking to the right. There's the nose, there's the mouth, and here's the black eye right up here. Then above it is a smaller face. You see that? That's all that white fungus stuff, you guys, popping out everywhere. Here's a long strand of it coming out. No, that's not. No, it's not. That's words. Never mind on that part. But all the rest of this, oh yeah. And of course she does it too. Because none of them are human. As I've been saying, I stand firm in this. You know, call me crazy all you want, but the time is coming. You're going to see I've been telling the truth. It's not like I'm trying to be all right. It's just this is all facts. And I just wish people would wake up is all. That's all. And look, this is them telling you right to their face. I mean, right to your face. Literally them telling you right to your face that we wear a mask to cover ourselves because we have to, because we're not human, we're demons. But even this mask thing is demons. The whole thing is demons. Like I said, and like Nathan said, and others have said, these things can manifest into anything they want to. Yeah, just all demons right there. That is, you know, all the people that's had such a huge crush on her. Yeah, I hate to tell you, but what you've had a crush on is demons. Literally. Here's so-called Lady Gaga. Yeah, she's not human either. She's a demon. And that is not contacts. That is not contacts. That is what you're seeing is a demon manifesting right there. It's what that is. It's shape-shifting. And this is supposed to be Prince, but this is not a human either. It's a demon. You can see the hand shape-shifting, which is actually a face, because a lot of these hands turn into faces and all that stuff. Black eyes and all that. All black eye. And there he has all that white and black fungus looking stuff in his hair that was just on that star that I was just showing. All this stuff up here. You can see a small demon face right down here in his hair. Here's another demon face up here. Yeah. And look at him shape-shifting. You see these like black stripes coming down. He doesn't have some type of, you know, veil over his face or whatever you call it. No, that's because he's shape-shifting, and that's what that all is. And here he's got slits in his eyes right here. That's still supposed to be Prince. I catch these orbs in almost everybody's videos. This was a woman who was given an interview right after she lost everything in a tornado. And as she was doing the interview, an orb flew right up to her. And so that is what that is right there, an orb. I catch it on the news channels. I catch it in everybody's videos. These orbs do all kind of crazy stuff. I've caught them flying up to people's faces and landing on their lips and in their hair. And, you know, sometimes they'll just fly right on by. And, yeah. And this is all Kat Von D again. You can see the demon. You can see that face clear as day right there. And you can see this face clear as day right here. And these up here. And you, these are clouds up here. All these little black things right here are also demons. It's what Nathan was just saying and what I've been saying for 4 years. These are these little carriers, the little spacecraft that these Ophanum, the fallen angels, fly around in. Okay, that's what all of this is. And yes, they are here. They've been here for a while, but they are really here now. And so me and, you know, the few other people who are awake are trying to warn other people. And we're not getting too far with, you know, there's some that's waking up. But the majority, sadly, are not. And you guys, this is not bugs. Some of these are going to look like they have little wings coming off of them. So some of you are going to say, oh, that's just gnats or whatever. Nope, that is not what that is. That is not gnats, not bugs. There were hundreds of, and I'm going to prove it here in a minute. I'm going to prove it, that these are not bugs or gnats or whatever you want to say they are. Okay, they're not. I'll show you here in just a moment. But all of this is all demons. Literally. Demons use this smoke substance, and I heard Nathan talk about this. I've heard other people talk about this recently, and this is yet another thing that I didn't know all this, you guys, 4 years ago. You know, like I said, it was the Holy Spirit showing me all this. But I'm hearing it now. It's coming out everywhere. People are talking about this, smoke stuff that the demons used to manifest with. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. Because, not that I needed confirmation. I did not. But it just, it just helps to prove that you're not crazy. Because when you have everybody walk out of your life because they thought you're just crazy and you need help, it can wear on you in the beginning. But, the most important thing to me is my Heavenly Father. And all I can do is pray for the ones that walked out of my life and pray to goodness they see what's really going on and that they will get out of this world and turn to the Most High God. Because the hour we're living in, you guys, is really late. But here's a triangle shaped eye up here in the sky. These are all faces, and they're all, you see them blowing smoke out of their mouths, out of their noses and everything. And I heard Nathan talk about that, as well as somebody else in another interview recently, that these things blow smoke out of their noses, out of their mouths to manifest other demons. But yeah, this is all of these black things on here. And I don't even know if that right now. I'm not saying all planes are not real. That's not what I'm saying. But many of them that I have filmed are not real planes. And I'm going to prove that here again in a moment also. But yeah, I would doubt that that's a real plane right there. I see a big eye right here. Yeah, there's that triangle eye right there. And there's the mouth. If anybody knows what Kat Von D looks like, that's not what she looks like, right? That's because she's not a human. She's shape-shifting, but you can see one nose here, one nose there. 2 black eyes. Oopsie daisy. And then you got demons over here, but these are kind of difficult to see. This is supposed to be a drone taking off. And I'm not saying that, you know, all drones are not real. That's not what I'm saying at all. Okay, let me make that clear. Here's a face right here with triangle eyes. There's a triangle eye. Here's a big triangle eye. Here's the mouth. Here's the nose. Here's the hand. Here's a hand right here. That's what that is. That's people. Somebody's gonna say, "Oh, that's just the smoke coming out." Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. I'm sorry to tell you, it's not. That is a hand right there of one of these big demons. But what I am saying about these, I do not believe that all these drones are real. Some I do think are real. Some are not. Again, demons can manifest into anything they want to. They're all in the trees. These trees. The demons that are all in the trees, you can see it blowing out smoke right here to manifest this demon right here. All these little lines that come out, that's demons in the trees manifesting smoke out to manifest more and more and more demons. That's what that is. But there's spirits all in the trees, you guys. I can't tell you how many times I've been filming the highway. Going down the highway when I get home. Look, here's a face right here in the tree. Eye, nose, mouth. See that face right there? And here's a critter looking one up here with 2 pointy ears. And there's something right there. But anyway, I can't tell you how many times I've been going down the highway. And when I get home, I view it. And I can't tell you how many demons were jumping out of the trees onto the vehicles. Or flying right beside it. And no, I kid you not. I've caught them in tornadoes and hurricanes and lightning, you know, everything. And I would go as far as to say is that they're the ones who's creating the lightning. Because I've seen them do it. Okay? This is not a bug right here. It may look like a bug. It looks like a bug. But again, they can manifest into anything they want to. And I'm going to prove it again. Like I said a minute ago, I'm going to prove it here in a minute. This is not a bug. This is a newscaster who I caught in the middle of shapeshifting right here. That's what she's doing. Shapeshifting. Here's all these little white and black things all on her. All that. That's that stuff that I've always said looks like fungus stuff popping out of them. Right? It's everywhere. This was in the news. They're claiming it's a 2-headed shark. However, I'm here to say this is not a real shark. This is demons again. You got an eye right down here with a slit in it. Okay, and there's that white and black fungus stuff coming up out of it right there and right there. Like I said, demons can manifest into anything they want to, be it human, bird, animal, marine life, objects, anything. Look, I can see a demon face right there with sharp teeth in its mouth. See that? The eye, the nose, and the teeth. I'll show it pulled up larger. See the eye right here? The nose and the mouth with sharp teeth in it. And this is a lady who's in the water, you know, supposedly with this 2-headed shark, but that's not a shark because it's demons. And that's what that is. And here's a huge demon face right behind it with an eye in the nose right here. And if I looked more, I would find more and more and more because they're always just morphed all in there together. And this is not a real woman either. She's manifesting. I see it coming out of her neck right here. That same white and black fungus looking stuff right there. And this is same thing. And you can see 2 eyes right here in the middle of them. Yeah, that's a triangle eye right here. There's that white and black fungus stuff popping up out of it right up here. There's some of it right down here. And this is supposed to be this woman. However, it's not a woman. It's demons, like I said. There's the black around its mouth because that's that part of that white and black stuff that looks like it's that fungus stuff. But yeah, that's not a woman. Those are demons. And these are more demons right all in here. And here it's going to smile for you with its sharp teeth. Here's a face down here. There's another face right here with the demon eye, with the triangle eye. Here's another black triangle eye. They're making it look like it's the nose, but that is not what that is. It's a triangle eye to one of these demons. You can see the face right here. An eye, and you see the smoke stuff coming out, manifesting. It's blowing it out of its mouth. Here comes the smoke stuff, and here's more smoke stuff blowing out right here of this mouth right here. There it comes, right there. This is a screenshot from one of my videos on my channel that some of you probably have seen, because this is the cover picture of the video. But these were supposed to be two little sparrows, birds, sitting here along this, you know, are martins. I think they're martins. But they're not real birds. They're demons. Because it manifested into this demonic looking, black bug looking thing. And, you know, some are going to say, oh, it's just because of the way you had your camera, or it's the way the bird was flying, or, you know, it's whatever. I've heard it all. But no, these are demons, you guys. And here's a demon that I caught in the sky right above my house. You can see the big, huge horns up here, and here's the face right there. You can see that plain as day. And you can see the triangle eye on this, you know, so-called bird, and this weird looking beak, and it's got weird looking white legs down here, and it's got some type of something poking out of it, but this is not a real bird. Here's a face right up here, a little bitty face right up there, and here's another face right down here, and here's another one, and here's another face right there. See that face? And if I turn it this way, here's a face right here, here's a face right here. This was supposed to be a helicopter, but it's not. These are two bright orbs right here, and if you see all this fuzzy looking stuff all around it, it's not because my camera is, it's not because I have a, you know, old camera, or it's whatever. I wasn't moving the camera around when I was filming. It doesn't matter. You can have a P1000 and it's still going to come out like this, because these things have an energy force field around them. It's some type of, you know, like, you know, when it's like really hot during the summertime and the pavement has these, you know, wavy looking things coming off the pavement. It's just a distortion, and there's nothing you can do about it to make it clear. So, I see a face right up here, but this is not a helicopter. Here's another face. Right, here's an eye and an eye right there. And Lady Gaga again with her all white eyes. This is this black fungus looking stuff popping out of her. There's the white and black fungus right there. It's all over her. Right in here. All of that. That's what that is. This was supposed to be a cardinal, but it shapeshifted into a supposedly dove, but it's not a dove. Here's the black and white fungus looking stuff popping out of it right up here. That's what that is. That was taken in my mother's yard, and she fully agreed with me that those are not birds, and they're not. This too is supposed to be a bird, but as you can clearly see, it is not a bird. Here's more of this white stuff. This is all black. There's white down here and white up here, and it's got a glow, a white glow around it, because all these demons have a glow around them. But this was supposed to be a bird, but as you can see, that's not what that is. And this was supposed to be a mockingbird, but as you can see, it's not a mockingbird. It's got rainbow colors all over it, and it's got this black stuff popping out. Here's a face over here. Here's a face here. Here's a face here. Yeah. Here's a face here with the triangle eye right there. The eye, and looks like a beak right there. And this is supposed to be a cardinal, but down here you can see part of its machinery is what I call it, because this all goes back to the Ophanum and the spacecraft that they use, the carriers they use to get around in. That's what it's all in one thing. Fallen angel / carrier all in one. Same as the orbs, the wheels within wheels. You can see the glow around it, but this was supposed to be a plane, but it kept shape-shifting, looking like a bird one moment, and then a plane the next, and then a ball of just fuzzy looking stuff the next, and then changing into this weird thing. And yes, I know it's blurry. I'm sorry, I can't help it. It's the distortion that they put off. The energy force field around them. That's a triangle eye right there too, if you see it, with the black smoke stuff coming out. And if y'all just heard that noise, that is the orbs literally in my house right now. If y'all just heard that, that is them. You can see the white glow around it. Okay. If y'all just heard that pop, that's them again. Any sounds that you hear other than my face or this noise, any other sounds, that is them. Supposed to be that same little martin flying off, but it turned into this. And you can see the smoke manifesting out of the mouth. This was supposed to be a blue jay, but he has no wing over here and has a weird wing right over here and a very strange looking head. That's because this is not a bird. It is a demon, and you can see part of its mechanical machinery thing. You can see it one moment, then it goes completely visible the next, and you can see little triangles down here. That's because those are tiny little triangle eyes right down here. Here's triangle eyes right here, because what this is a whole bunch of demons manifested together, making this right here. Well, I missed it. I had my phone on pause, but they just made a really loud sound in my home just then. Another thing that I catch on these things a whole lot is a heart. That's why I put this heart right here. I catch the hearts in the sky. I catch them on everything. But he's got a heart on his chest right there. And this is not a bird again. Here's little faces all in here. Here's a face right here with the triangle eye and the black mouth looking that way. Here's a little face right here. There's another one down here and another face down here. They're everywhere. And this is what a so-called mockingbird changed into. And it lit up. Yeah. Caught it in the middle of shape-shifting. Here's another image of a bird, so-called bird that I caught. Very strange looking, huh? He's in the middle of shape-shifting. And you can see the mechanical parts sticking out and how weird it looks. Here's a face up here. Here's a little face up here. He's got black and white legs because it's that black and white fungus looking stuff again as it's manifesting. No wings whatsoever. They've got my pictures locked up now. I can't do anything with my pictures right now, so they've got my pictures all locked up right now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish my video because they've got me all locked up. I cannot get my pictures to unlock, but I did have this one saved, so I just wanted to show this. How in the Bible it talks about Beelzebub, and it says Beelzebub, Bel, or Beelzebub, I don't know why they said that twice, but is a name derived from a Philistine god formerly worshipped in Ekron and later adopted by some Abrahamic religions as a major demon. And let's see, I'm going to go on to, let's see, he is known as the Lord of the Flyers or Lord of the Flies. being capable of flying. And what do they have there? So, the video that I filmed recently where I was showing the bird, so-called bird and so-called bee, in that video, neither one of those are real. They're demons. And I just wanted to point this out right here because it's in the Bible, you guys. All of this is in the Bible. We just have been lied to is the problem in the churches by these false prophets. You know, the wolves in sheep's clothing. Yeah, them. They made sure that we didn't know about any of this stuff. But the truth is all coming out now in these latter days. And it's all being exposed. So, yeah, but all of this stuff is literally in the Bible. Yeah, you guys, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to finish this video. I can't even close out of my pictures. They've got me completely jammed up. And this never happens. So, they do not want this getting out, though. This is why I'm hearing so many orbs in my house right now. And they've got everything locked up. My pictures never lock up, but they're locked up now. It's just spinning. I can't even exit out of it. I cannot do a thing. So, I'll have to make another video, part 2. This is a long one anyway, but because I've got some really crazy stuff to show in the other one, alright? And it will be about showing y'all absolute proof that that's not planes in the sky that you're seeing. Again, I'm not saying that every single plane is not real. That's not what I'm stating at all. Because I know that there are real planes. But there are some that are not real. And I can prove it without a shadow of a doubt. Okay? So, I will make another video and show y'all that later whenever I can. Alright, y'all take care. Y'all be safe. I love you guys. And God bless. Bye.